Okay, so we're going to take a look at my original PlayStation collection. So this is going to consist of 75 games. That's quite a bit of games, considering every single game has some gameplay footage associated with it. So it took a while, but I think it turned out really well. So let's take a look at a couple of the systems I've got here. So the first one we're going to look at, this is the original PlayStation. This particular model came out in 1998. The original model came out in 1995 in the United States. This is the second model. The first model had the standard red, white, and yellow connections on the back. It also, I believe, had the AV multi-out as well, and the other ports here as well. You've got the AV multi-out here. You've got the power there. You've got serial port for linking PlayStation consoles together for like network games, which is kind of cool. Or sorry, system link games, because there's no network connectivity there. But then you got this parallel port here. Now, I can't get this off for the life of me, and I don't want to break it. So, this port is used, or was used, for the peripherals like the Game Shark. I believe the Game Shark 1.0 and 2.0 or something like that connected with using this. And then later on, they came out with the disc and memory card version. And then also you have like knockoffs like Goldfinger was one of them. A couple other ones that use this port that were used for cheating, used for extra memory card storage, which was kind of cool. And then nowadays you got the things like the PSIO, which also uses port for more gray area things. We'll put it that way. So it took two controllers there. So there are two controller ports, two memory card slots. I forgot to grab memory card, otherwise I'll show you what those look like. You got the open button there. Take CDs for those that don't know that. Power button. There's a few games in the pile. A reset button there. And that's really it. That was the original PlayStation. Again, this one came, well, the original model came out in 1995. And then in 2000, they came out with this little guy, the PS1. Now, this was Sony's effort to just make it more compact, so it doesn't take up too much space. You still got the memory card slots, still got the controller ports. You got the open the open button there, eject button there, power and reset in one button, which is kind of neat. And then you got the multi-out and a proprietary AV cable, because it doesn't take the same one as the original PlayStation does. So that was their effort to go smaller. Now, there were two controller types. The original controller that came out with the original PlayStation looked like this. This is the same one the PS Classic uses. Actually, it is a PS Classic controller, because I didn't want to dig out my other ones. But same controller, same style. And later on, they came out with the analog controller, kind of like this. I mean, yes, this is a third-party PS2 controller, but just imagine it's gray and has analog sticks, and that's pretty much what you got. So let's move on to the games here. So I'm going to try to do this in alphabetical order. So the first game is a loose copy of 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. This is a third-person shooter. It's pretty good for what it is. And I'm going to try to keep these in alphabetical order somewhat. Next game we have here is a complete copy of 2 Extreme. This game is essentially a racing game that consists of different sports like inline skating, bicycling, and snowboarding, it looks like here. And I'm going to go ahead and just put these in a pile. There we go. Okay. Next game, Action Bass. It's a really good fishing game. So, I mean, as far as fishing games goes, this is pretty good. Okay, next game, Air Combat.
Enemy in up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Jesus! On our left! On our right!
Caution!
Go! Pull out of it!
Engine stall. Caution!
This is a pretty good combat flight arcade type game. It's not so much a simulation as it is arcade, but a pretty good game nonetheless. All these games are actually pretty good. This game's awesome. Iron Man 3D. So in this game, you play as a Green Army Man, and you infiltrate the Tan base, take out Tan enemies, and do missions and stuff. It's really a lot of fun. A great third-person shooter on the PS1. Here's a game that I remember fondly. Auto Destruct.
You can fill up here if you're running low during a mission. Just pull up between the pumps and the gas station. You can also get your car repaired in the shop around the side. A white arrow will appear on your scanner showing you the way to the nearest garage when your health or fuel is low. There's a helicopter waiting outside for you. Follow the green arrow to its position. To it, as this is your closest target. Well done, your first kill. I've dropped $1,000, which you need to pick up. This should cover.
So this, in my opinion, was Electronic Arts' take on Spy Hunter, I guess you could say. Before Spy Hunter became Spy Hunter on the PS2. So I guess they kind of did it first. The game does have some simulation elements to it, like you have to actually get gas because you run out of gas, and you get weapon fill-ups and stuff. It's actually a lot of fun. Really, definitely a good game to pick up. Loose copy of Barbie Explorer. Now, this is actually one game I was not able to get footage of, so 74 games, because it wouldn't load. It wouldn't play, unfortunately. I had to play there for a while. It just stopped working. So this is pretty much Tomb Raider, but Barbie, and way more geared towards younger children. Not a horrible game, but yeah. Burning Road. I do have a lot of racing games in this lot. Sorry, not this lot, but in my collection, because most of this collection was from my uncle and just really into racing games, and I inherited the collection. So there's a lot of racing games in here. So Burning Road's a pretty decent racer. Not the best, but definitely a lot of fun. Next game we have is Car and Driver Grand Tour Racing. This game you can race either with stock cars or like IndyCar racing. It's pretty cool. Next game, I had a lot of fun with this game actually. Kart World Series. This is a pretty realistic. Sorry about that. It's a pretty realistic IndyCar racing game. You can lose tires. You can take other cars out. It's a lot of fun. Next game, and this is actually a game I ended up getting for free, believe it or not. Chocobo Racing. It's a lot of fun. It plays a lot like Mario Kart, but with Final Fantasy characters. It's a great game. Definitely worth at least seeking out a loose copy of. Cool. Borders 3. This is technically loose, I guess you could say, because it doesn't have the back art, but it has the front cover art. Pretty decent snowboarding game on the PS1. Definitely one of the best ones out of the, I think, 4 that are out there. I think there's going to be 5. I think there's Cool Borders 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2001. This one, I think, is my favorite. Critical Depth on the PS1. So this is actually kind of interesting. So this is a game that has you playing as a submarine. So think of Twisted Metal, but your sub's underwater. It takes some getting used to with the controls, but it's definitely a lot of fun. Definitely worth picking this up. You guys like Twisted Metal? Definitely check this out. Alrighty. Moving on here. Daredevil Derby 3D. This is an isometric racing game. That just doesn't feel like a racing game. It just doesn't feel like you're going very fast. It kind of just feels sluggish. But it's an okay game, not too bad. Whoops. Okay. Next game, Driver. this game's notorious for having one of the most difficult tutorials I think that has ever a PS1 game has ever had. Ridiculous. But if you can get past that, this game's pretty awesome. And then they came out with Driver 2. Now, this game actually expands on Driver in that you can actually get out of your car, you can steal other people's cars, and so you have to run around and fight. It's actually pretty cool. So it's like GTA 3, just without the violence and without the guns.
Attention all units. We're now at position.
So, pretty neat. Okay. Get down to this stack here. This is ECW Hardcore Revolution. Obviously, it's have the manual, so I'm going to go. It's semi-loose, I guess. This game is a pretty good for racing or for a wrestling game.
Come on.
Not my favorite wrestling game, but definitely one to pick up if you guys like ECW. Okay, and last game before we get to the next stack here, and that is Final Fantasy VIII Complete. My least favorite Final Fantasy game. I know some people are going to hate me for saying that, but it is my least favorite Final Fantasy game. It's a decent game, one that I've played a lot of, but I'm glad that I have it in my collection. Okay, I'm actually going to move these over here and flip them back over. A second here, if I can do this without losing them. And there we go. Okay, I just want to keep them in alphabetical order if I can. Okay, so next game, and there's the next stack here. Final Fantasy IX, great game. I actually ended up getting 8 and 9 for free in a lot of PS1 and PS2 games, and PS3 I think. So very happy to have this in my collection. Next game here is Final Fantasy Chronicles. This is Final Fantasy 4 and Chrono Trigger. This is missing the manuals, but otherwise it's complete. It has both discs in there, both front and back art. Final Fantasy 4, easily my favorite Final Fantasy game. Hands down. Tied with 6. And then Chrono Trigger is a timeless RPG from Squaresoft, or Square Enix now. Now, although these are really cool to play, this is about the worst way to play these games because of the horrendous load times. If you can get these digitally, I definitely would suggest that over getting a physical PS1 copy. Got quite a few racing games here coming up, including this one. Ford Racing. Sounds very generic, but it is a stock car racing game. Pretty good for a racing game. Definitely a decent racing game there. Gran Turismo. This is more of a simulation game, less of an arcade game. If you like Forza, you got a PS1, and you want a Forza-like game, this is definitely a game to check out. And next game here is Gran Turismo 2, the sequel to Gran Turismo. Again, more of a simulation game than your traditional arcade racing game. So we've got Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. It's okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
This racing game is okay. Not great. There's better racing games out there, but it's alright. Jet Moto, another racing game that has you racing on hover bikes or jet skis, grav cycles, grav bikes, whatever you want to call them. They're anti-grav vehicles. So it's a futuristic racing game. So you're racing across broken islands and things. It's actually pretty decent. And then we've got its sequel, Jet Moto 2. This game I feel has better tracks. And overall it just feels just better, a better, more polished game, and it should. It's a sequel. Okay, here we've got Jimmy Johnson's VR Football 1998. Let's look back there. So this plays like like the old Joe Montana games on Genesis. This plays kind of like that, kind of isometric type view. Pretty decent football game though for PlayStation. There are better ones out there, but this is pretty decent. One of my favorite games on PS2, one I spent a lot of hours playing when I was younger, and that is MechWarrior 2. This game has you piloting various mechs and doing missions, and it's pretty awesome.
Summoner, Hellbringer, Mad Dog. Planet Colmar. Proceed with first mission objective.
Okay, here's another classic game here. We got Metal Gear Solid on the PS1. So this is a mission-based stealth game, third person. If you haven't heard of Metal Gear Solid, I'm sorry. You should by now.
What was that noise? Who's that?
Definitely a great game, worth checking out. If you guys like any of the Metal Gear Solids, you got a PS1, track this game down. It's a good game. Okay, now I got all that sorted. All right, on the last two, actually two. Let's call it 2.25 stacks. So we've got NASCAR racing. This is again more of a simulation racing game, and the one Michael had in his collection. That's in my collection. Pretty decent NASCAR racing game. We've got NBA Shootout 97, loose copy.
And the Seattle Supersonics. The Lakers control the tip. Off the glass. Number 11, Detlef Schrempf. Intercepted.
It's not a basketball game. NBA Shootout 98.
From long range, Lakers with the rebound. Out of bounds.
A better basketball game. And we've got NBA Live 2001. This is the better, or the best of the three we just looked at there.
Pass to Barry to Peyton. Peyton unloads a three. Yes.
Definitely a great basketball game on the PS1. Need for Speed. And now, I know some are going to argue that it should be Road and Track than Need for Speed, but no. I'm always going to call it just Need for Speed. It's the first Need for Speed game. More of an arcade racing game. I would say this is my least favorite Need for Speed game on the PS1, but it's still a decent game. Always really decent. Need for Speed 2, a much better arcade racing game. This game, I think it's gonna be my favorite Need for Speed game on the PS1 out of the 5 on the PS1. I think I have 4 and 5. This game you can race as a log and as a T-Rex if you use the cheats, which is kind of cool. I don't show that in the footage, but that is something you can unlock and race as, which is kind of funny to see a log cruising down the road. All right, moving along. Need for Speed 3, Hot Pursuit. More of the same arcade racing fun. Great tracks. This introduces the police, so the police actually chase you if they catch you speeding. And you also have a 2-player mode where you can, one is cop, one's the race car. It's kind of fun. Need for Speed V Rally. This was, in my opinion, Electronic Arts' take on Sega Rally, and it's not very good.
Wrong way. Easy right. Medium right.
The fifth game on the PS1, fifth Need for Speed game, the fifth Need for Speed game is High Stakes on the PS1, which I don't have. NFL Blitz 2000, a very fun.
Game is underway. Somebody peel him off the turf.
Fun football game, definitely worth picking up. Nuclear Strike. So this is in the Strike series. You got Desert Strike, Urban Strike, Jungle Strike, Nuclear Strike. It says you're playing as a helicopter. It's a third-person vehicular shooter. You go on missions and taking out various enemies and going through objectives, things like that.
That's Nick's chopper. That's to you. Come down and fight.
Graphics are pretty good on this. For a PS1 game, that is. Here's a great game. One on the PS1. It's loose, obviously. So this game is a run and gun. I want to say, it's a 3D. I want to say isometric or 2.5D if you want to put it that way. Run and gun shooter, definitely a great game. Pick this up for a couple bucks. Definitely worth checking out. If you like games like Contra, pick this up. It's good. Here's a game that, well, it's Perfect Weapon. This game is slow, and it doesn't really tell you what to do, and it's a third-person game. Not much more to say about it. Now here's a game that I got in the lot of free PS1 or PlayStation stuff I got. And it's a game that I was surprised I actually enjoyed. And that is Pong. Now, for those wondering, oh, it's Pong. What's so great about it? Well, it's in the way that they changed the game Pong. So it's 3D, and it's interesting. And you can say by gameplay footage, it's definitely Pong, but it's definitely also different. So. Game's worth about $5. You guys like Pong, PS1. Pick this up if you want a decent, unique Pong experience. Okay, next one here is Porsche Challenge. I will let the gameplay speak for itself.
Go, go, go! Go, baby!
Moving on. Now these next two, and so I initially said Barbie was the only one that I didn't get footage for. These two are also ones I didn't get footage for, and that is Pro Pinball and Pro Pinball Fantastic Journey. These are pinball games. These are meant to be simulation games, like simulate actual pinball. I couldn't get either of these to load. I don't know if the PS3 just hated these games. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe these are games that it isn't compatible with, but I could not get these to load, so I gave up after about 5 minutes of loading. But they're, from what I remember playing, they're okay. They're decent pinball games. Here's a game I picked up from PRGE, I believe it was last year. Rascal for $2. I saw this, I had to pick it up for that price. Speaking of Rayman, Rayman on the PS1. This is a side-scrolling platformer. Plays very cartoony, and definitely worth checking out. Now here is an amazing racing game, and this is R4 Ridge Racer Type 4. Great racing game.
Real Racing Roots 99 in 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go! It's showtime! 2 laps to go.
Now, this does come with a special secondary disc, and I will get to that in about 2 more games. So I'll get to that in a second. So the next game I got, and the $10 lot, that included that disgusting PS yellowed PS1, was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis Complete. So, definitely happy to have this in my collection. And then, I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Okay. So, this next game, this is where I was going to get to this other one in a second. So, this is Ridge Racer. A really decent, very awesome, very fun arcade racing game. Now, I mentioned this having a second disc. Now, I'll show you this here. So, this is the special secondary disc, or the bonus disc. So, this game is the disc has both Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer Turbo on it. Now, I'm going to throw the comparisons between the two. I actually used the footage for the first Ridge Racer, or the original Ridge Racer from this disc, and then the bonus Ridge Racer Turbo using this disc. Ridge Racer Turbo is Ridge Racer being played at 60 frames per second on an original PlayStation. It looks so awesome and so silky smooth.
This is just what I wanted to see. 3 laps to go.
So if you want this game, track down Ridge Racer Type 4. You'll have this with it. Or make sure it's got this with it. You'll have this game plus being able to play it at 60 frames per second. So, moving on. Next game, Road Rash. It's Road Rash. I like the Genesis version better than this one. Load times are not great. Road Rash Jailbreak. This is a better game.
Gonna open up a can of whoop ass.
Load times are still bad, but this is a better game than the first one. Here's a frustrating game. Roll Cage. I mean, it's a fast game, but it can get disorienting with the fact that the car will flip around and you'll end up going in reverse, and it can get pretty crazy. San Francisco Rush. Decent arcade racing game. Rush 24-9 is a better game, but this is still up there as a great racing game. Now, here we've got South Park Chef's Love Shack. So this this plays as a trivia game. So it's kind of like You Don't Know Jack, but it's South Park. I think it's enough said there. Definitely a game to check out.
Death Valley is found in what state? No, children. Ooh, Conjoined Twins. As popular carnival attractions, what were they called in the old days? Damn it. Now look what happened.
Okay, getting into a couple Star Wars games here. Great game on the PC. This is Star Wars Dark Forces. Yes, this is the PlayStation version. Still plays great. Yeah, great first-person shooter. I like Star Wars. It's definitely a game worth seeking out.
There he is. Stop it.
Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. So this is a game that is a third-person isometric, I guess beat 'em up brawler if you want to call it that. The Dreamcast version is way better than this one, but this one also is less expensive. So if you want to seek this game out, you got a PS1. It's definitely worth picking up. if you want that game. Next game here we have is TREG, Tactical Rescue Assault Group. That was a game actually previously reviewed on the channel quite a while ago. But this is a game where you play as one of two characters to go into a building to rescue people and fight robots and stuff. It plays kind of like Resident Evil, but with robots. It's pretty good. Here's another game they got in that $10 lot, and that is Tecmo Super Bowl. Surprisingly fun football game.
Miami Dolphins. First down. And D formation.
Red 44. Red 44. Hut.
Definitely worth checking out and seeking out if you guys like the old Tecmo Bowl games. Super Tecmo Bowl Tecmo Super Bowl, excuse me, is definitely a great football game to be picking up. Tekken 2. This is a great fighting game. Definitely we're picking up on the PS1.
Round 1. Fight. KO. Round 2. Fight.
And here's a great version of Tetris Plus. So this has got the original Tetris. This also has challenge mode. With challenge mode, you have to help this little guy get to the exit. It's pretty cool.
Single. Triple. Single. Double. Yeah.
And it's also it also supports 2-player head-to-head. So pretty cool. Very very fun game. Here is the Dukes of Hazzard Racing for Home. Best way I can describe this is it plays like Driver, but in the Dukes of Hazzard universe is about the best way I can describe it.
Watch it go.
if you're a fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, definitely seek this game out. Otherwise, you can probably just leave it on the shelf. I got a couple more games here. The Italian Job. Decent game. Again, this plays kind of like Driver, Dukes of Hazzard, games like that, where you just drive around doing missions. This is based on, I believe, the movie of the same name.
This car belongs to the Pakistani ambassador. Typical, innit? I've been out of jail 5 minutes and I'm in a hot car.
I just wanted you to come out in style, baby.
This is a game I got in a estate sale a couple years back for $1. Couldn't pass this up for $1. Okay, we got Thunder Truck Rally on PS1. This is a monster truck racing game. In the footage here, I kind of get lost, but it's still fun to mess around with.
3, 2, 1, go!
And here's a great game. Despite what I've heard about it, I enjoy it, and that is Top Gun Fire Wheel. This is a great combat flight sim. This is based off the movie.
All right. Not bad. For a first mission, you're off to a good start.
Now shoot! Go, man! In the air. They're launching. We're hit. Lock. We got lock. Now shoot! Lock. We got lock. Now shoot! We got an enemy missile launch.
It's even got clips from the movie, and it kind of ties you in there. It's really well done. Definitely worth checking out if you guys like Top Gun. This is a game to pick up. I think it's only like less than $5, so definitely worth picking up. Okay, we got. Oh, I missed the stack. Okay, so we got Twisted Metal. The one that started it all. Great vehicular combat game. Definitely worth picking up. Also available on the PS Classic. And then we've got last one in the stack, Tyco RC. The racing is very slow for it being a racing game. VMX Racing. It is a motocross racing game. avoid it. Here's a great game, and that is War Games DEFCON 1.
Fire! What? That's friendly! Cease fire! What? Sir, yes, sir! We're under attack!
The other gameplay, but it's definitely worth seeking out. Definitely worth picking up on the PS1. Is a loose copy of Warhawk Declassified. It's Warhawk. This is a first person, or I believe you can even do a third person, combat flight game. Very futuristic, lots of fun, definitely worth picking up. Again, it's pretty cheap. Here's a game based on a TV show. World's Scariest Police Chases.
In high-speed pursuits, police officers face...
Okay, rookie, step on it. Hey, careful! You did it! Great driving. You're on your way.
It's interesting. Here we've got a wrestling game that's pretty different. So this is WWF in your house. There goes the neighborhood. Now this game is an older WWF game, but it plays more like a fighting game, like a Mortal Kombat game almost.
On to the leader in sports entertainment for over 50 years. Welcome to the new WWF generation. Welcome to In Your House. We are Undertaker. What the? Hit him! The Undertaker gets the win.
It's just weird. It's fun, but as you can see, it's pretty odd. Okay, we got WWF SmackDown 2. Know Your Role. This has got a lot of different modes, a lot of different wrestling type matches, lots of great wrestlers. Definitely a great wrestling game to pick up on the PS1. Another great wrestling game, WWF Warzone.
was slick.
Definitely a game worth checking out. Not as good as some of the other ones, but definitely a good game. And we got WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. Okay, so that was roughly, there was 75 games I talked about, 72 or 3 of which I actually got recordings for. So, yeah, it's been a long video, but I knew that going in. That's been my PS1 collection. I hope you guys have seen some games that have interested you, and if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Lots of great games. This was a blast to do. And I'm looking forward to doing the rest of my collection in the upcoming videos. So I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, till next time, take care and happy gaming.